Alles hat eigentlich damit angefangen, als meine Oma verstorben ist an Leukämie, und ich habe mich zum ersten Mal gefragt, was passiert eigentlich nach dem Tod? Wo ist die Seele? Gibt es eine Seele? Wenn ja, wo ist sie jetzt? Meistens sagen die Menschen immer, die Oma ist jetzt an einem besseren Ort. Der Oma geht's jetzt besser. Jetzt muss die Oma nicht mehr leiden. Und da habe ich mich gefragt, stimmt das eigentlich? Woher wissen wir das eigentlich? Wer war schon mal oder wer ist vom Tod wieder zurückgekommen und kann uns jetzt erklären, so, das und das ist passiert? Und da habe ich zum ersten Mal mich eigentlich gefragt, was passiert nach dem Tod? Wo ist die Seele? Und ich war nie so wirklich religiös. Ich habe auch nie irgendwie von zu Hause eine religiöse Erziehung genossen. Wir haben zwar Weihnachten gefeiert und Ostern und so, aber es war mehr kulturell, würde ich sagen, nicht unbedingt wegen der Religion. Und dann habe ich mir gedacht, okay, wenn es jetzt Gott gibt, wenn es ihn wirklich gibt und wenn er wirklich diese ganzen Propheten gesandt hat, dann muss doch der Prophet, der als letztes kam, mit der letzten Nachricht eigentlich, die er vermittelt, mit der Wahrheit kommen.
Actually, I was raised Christian, and I've always felt that something was missing. I would go to church, and my mom was a practicing Christian, my dad was an atheist. So I always felt like in my own faith that it wasn't really complete. Something was always like eating at me, like a searching kind of feeling, like it wasn't the truth or something was being left out. And I just was always feeling like I didn't have that direct connection with God. So especially when I went to college, I felt that's the time when I was out of the house, I was studying, and I really wanted to get to know that connection with my Creator. And I didn't know where it was gonna be, but I was searching and just asking a lot of questions. And I took a comparative religion course in university, and I think that's what really sparked my search.
Als Rastafari had ik dus mijn dreadlocks en ik was vegetariër. En ik las de Rasta-bijbel. Op een dag gaf een vriend, een andere Rasta-vriend, die gaf mij een kleine bijbel. Heel dun. Hetzelfde als de bijbel die de katholieken lezen, maar veel dunner. Dus ze hebben alleen wat Jezus gezegd heeft en de gospel en zo, dat staat in die bijbel. En dat is heel intrigerend. En er zijn heel veel gelijkenissen tussen de Rastas en de moslims. Als je naar Afrika gaat, dan zie je dat de Rastas tijdens het vrijdagsgebed komen de Rastas mee naar de moskee voor deel te nemen aan het gebed. Maar ik voelde een leegheid. Dus ik voelde er is een manier om contact te nemen met God.
Un amigo en Facebook que siempre posteaba cosas sobre el Islam en árabe y ponía cosas que para mí hasta ese momento eran raras. Y así como más de un año, y nunca pregunté nada porque siempre he tenido la idea de que hay que respetar la creencia de los demás. Así como tenía amigos o tengo amigos cristianos, evangélicos, o que creen en Shiva o en Buda, etc. Entonces de igual forma no le preguntaba a este amigo. Hasta que un día por ahí conversando, por pura conversación le pregunté, ¿de qué se trata lo que tú posteas? Y me explicó, ¿no? Me dijo que era una religión, que era el Islam, y bueno, y le pregunto, ¿y en qué crees tú? Y me dice, en Alá. Ah, le digo, ese es tu Dios. Y me dice, ¿es el mismo Dios que tú tienes? Y me asombré, pues, ¿no? ¿Qué? Le digo. Y me dice, sí, me dice, solamente que Alá es la traducción de Dios al árabe. Ah, mira qué interesante. Entonces de ahí empecé a buscar más información en internet, porque es cierto, todo lo busqué en internet, viendo videos y cosas así. Entonces llegué a descubrir que creo que esto es lo que estoy buscando, porque yo siempre como católica no practicante, como muchos en mi país, ya que la religión oficial es católica, sabía que mi religión era monoteísta, pero no era realmente monoteísta, porque a la hora de hacer la práctica tenías que invocar a Jesús. Entonces, cuando me encontré con esta idea de la religión, que realmente era monoteísta, que de frente te dirigías a Dios, entonces yo dije, aquí es.
Me convertí al Islam cuando tenía 20 años. Vengo de una familia católica en el País Vasco y siendo el mayor de los hermanos de mi generación, la tradición familiar me incluía en convertirme en un cura. Así que, siguiendo la tradición, yo estaba destinado a convertirme en un sacerdote. Tuve mi educación en una escuela religiosa y a la edad de 15 años me di cuenta que aquello no era para mí. Y empecé un camino de búsqueda que me llevó fuera del cristianismo y me convertí al ateísmo profundamente. Me hice muy interesado en los problemas sociales, políticos, económicos. Y a la edad de 19 años tuve la fortuna de encontrarme accidentalmente con un sheikh que, sin decirme que era musulmán, me ató en una relación intelectual, de bondad, de amistad, de la que llegué a encontrarme un día con él haciendo la oración y le pregunté qué es lo que estaba haciendo. Me respondió: soy musulmán, esta es una oración. Y creó en mí el comienzo de una curiosidad. Y aquel mismo día hice la primera oración con él, sin saber lo que estaba haciendo, naturalmente, simplemente por curiosidad. Pero aquel trato con aquella persona tan extraordinaria empezó a crear en mí un interés desconocido por algo que ni siquiera llegaba a comprender. Es un amor por Allah inusitado, inesperado, hasta el punto que me enamoré de Allah sin conocer lo que era el Islam. Simplemente pronunciando la palabra Allah, se me ponían la carne de gallina. Y siendo un ateo convencido, aquello era incomprensible para mí. Que no entendía de religión, pero la compañía de este hombre había creado en mí un deseo por Allah que ni yo podía comprender.
Comencé a asistir a la mezquita, que fue en el año 1998, en Ramadán del 98. Y fue un cambio total. Recibí la información que yo buscaba. Comencé a entender los conceptos básicos del Islam, no a través de periódicos, no a través de revistas ni de noticias, sino a través de los mismos musulmanes, de la boca de los propios musulmanes. Y un hecho particular que me marcó personalmente, esto ocurrió hace ya 18 años, fue el hecho de descalzarme, quitarme los zapatos y entrar a la sala de oración. Este hecho ya nos dice, me decía mucho, entré a un lugar tranquilo, de paz. Entonces la paz se comenzaba a sentir en la mezquita, en un lugar dedicado a Dios. Eso me marcó también en cierto sentido y de forma personal.
Go into a mosque, talk to some imams and find out what exactly is going on with these amazing people who are so courageous and so clear. And absolutely sure that they're living within the natural flow of creation, because that's how it seemed to me. And there I just started to free fall into it all the way.
Some friends of ours took me one day. They said, "Do you feel like going to meet an imam?" And I said, "Yeah." And they explained what that person was. And I went there, and he talked to me about Islam for a while. And I felt so good at what he was telling me. And like everything he said, I didn't feel like there was a lie anywhere in there. I didn't feel like they were trying to hide anything. And anything that I had been looking for ever. I can't even explain for how long, just forever, my whole life. He was answering every single one of those questions, and I only had one question left. And that question was the one that I asked when I was 11, is Jesus the Son of God? And he told me no. And so I was shocked, and I didn't know what to say at first, and I just kind of sat there quiet, and I was kind of excited, and you know how you get that feeling in your stomach, you're jumping when like you're getting like the greatest thing, and you know it's finally coming, like when you get your first bicycle or you get your first, I don't know, it's just that feeling. And I was trying, okay, be calm, and I was trying to calm myself. And then I asked him, can I ask you to tell me why they don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God? And he was so calm, and he explained everything to me, and I just believed everything that he said. Everything. I didn't feel like I was being lied to. I didn't feel like I was being tricked, or like I was asking a question I shouldn't be asking. I just kept feeling more and more peaceful, but I still was excited. So after that, I asked him, what do you have to do in order to become a Muslim? And he told me I probably already had been one my whole life. I just didn't know it, and I wasn't raised that way, so it wouldn't have shown. And he told me I had to say the Shahada, and I did. And it was like I don't know, it's like the best day of my life. Even until now, you can't take that feeling and describe it into words. It's like a blind person getting to see the sun for the first time, or listening to the sound of water when you can't hear, or I don't know, it's like I was lost and somebody helped me to find my way. I don't know, and I cry every single time I tell this story, but it's the truth, because it's the greatest day of my life. I'm sorry, but it really is, and I don't regret it for a second. I went through a lot to get there, I really did, and I don't have time in this interview to tell everybody what it is, but maybe one day somebody will meet me and they'll ask me, and then we can have coffee and I'll tell them the whole story. I don't believe that Islam retards us in any way. I don't believe it's a prison. I think that people in the United States need to get off their real butts and go to a Muslim country and meet the people who are actually practicing Islam. Don't go meet Muslims. Go actually meet the people who are practicing Islam. Really, really get to know them. And the reason I say that, one, is because I was an American, and I came out of there, even as a Muslim, with that same stupid, arrogant, blind understanding. I went back for a visit recently, and I went to go stay with my daughter after 20-something years, and I went for 5 weeks. And she asked me finally one day, I was waiting, I kept telling them I need a place to pray, and I need, and she finally asked me one day, Mom, I just need to understand, why am I so committed to the religion? I said, well, first of all, because it's the feeling, and you can't put that into a word. You have to have that feeling, and if you have that feeling, it's kind of like, I guess, how she feels about being in love with her husband. I'm in love with Islam. I don't know. But sometimes trying to make Americans understand what Islam is really all about, because they have nothing to compare it to. You can't compare Islam with love. You can't. It's not the same. Love is a feeling that can come and go, and it fluctuates. But in Islam, if you really are the one whose heart is attached to Allah, your iman will go up and down, but not the way it is with love. You go in and out of love, you can change people all the time. But when you actually commit to really being a Muslim or in Islam and actually really wanting to practice, you're not going to want to do this, okay, I can divorce you this time. You don't do that. That never even comes into the equation.
Well, when I was, I think, 2 or 3 years old, my parents divorced, and it was obviously quite traumatic for everyone in the family. And then since then, well, after the divorce, I rarely saw my mother, unfortunately. I stayed with my father and his parents, so my grandparents, and I didn't really see my mother, until around sort of 13, 14 years old. So I missed a big chunk of my life without my mother. And I think Islam is definitely a cure to this in the Western world nowadays. The Muslim world isn't perfect by saying that no one gets divorced in Islam as Muslims, but in the West, unfortunately, this is a big problem in the West, and there are a lot of divorce cases. And unfortunately, there are a lot of single mums or single dads that have a huge problem when bringing up a child on their own.
When I was 19, I was in a very bad place in my life. I had no job, no money. I'd lost custody of my child, and I was really lost. And an opportunity came for me to work in an environment with lots and lots of Muslims, and they started giving me advice on my life. And at first I thought, I'm not interested. And then slowly I thought maybe this could be what I'm missing in my life. And my now husband gave me a book about the fundamentals of Islam. I took it home and I read it cover to cover, and everything in the book was complete common sense to me. Nothing was totally out there. Everything I was like, yes, that all makes sense to me. And I just thought, once Allah shows you the way, you can't deny the truth. So I started making my tasbih in English. I started praying in a very English way on my knees by my bed every night, asking God to help me fix my life and change all the bad things in it for me. And I took my shahada, and from that moment everything changed. Every single bad thing changed to a good thing. I was given so many opportunities came to me. I was given my son. I got married. I had security.
My relationship with God, I think, was there even before I was Muslim. I was always searching for God, talking to God, and I think a lot of us do that, but we either ignore it, or we get angry, or we try to fight it. But when you understand Islam, and when you embrace it and it overtakes you, you realize that you have a direct relationship with God, and that is actually the best connection, the most comforting and most liberating and the most powerful experience, when you realize that the creator of the worlds knows you and cares about you. And nothing in this, what we think is a wide and large universe, and all these people and all these daily things that occupy our minds, all of that is beneath Allah. And when we realize that, then we're secure.
I wasn't so secure, and I didn't feel I had the confidence until after I became Muslim. That was a total change. I felt I was a shy, awkward person, and I think Islam really gave me the freedom to be myself, and to know that it's okay to be yourself, no matter what you are, what you're good at. This is something that God gave you, a gift, and you should use it the best way that you can. And I felt I wasn't able to do that before. I always felt kind of like I didn't have that freedom to be myself.